Hello, welcome back to the channel. What I want to do today is wander around the workshop and give you a view as to what we've got this month, work in progress, and also work that we're going to be picking up as we go along. So if you want to follow me through, I can talk to you about what we've got. So we'll start off with this original English right-hand drive 2+2, long-term ownership. It's just been passed over by the current owner to his son. It's been in the garage for a few years, I think now. And as you can see, it's going to want a good valet to actually clean it up and get it ready. So we're going to be storing the car and doing some work on it in due course. But this is booked in to be valeted tomorrow. So that would be great. It should look a lot nicer. What I'll do is in a future video, I'll show you around the car properly once it's been finished, so you can see the difference in it. Then these two cars here, John's just finishing off the valeting of them. They've both been sold because I think they're going to be delivered later on in the week, which is a great thing for the owner. So we're looking forward to that. They've come up really nicely. They look fantastic. The wheels on the red drop head are Torino wheels, which are a lovely looking wheel. They are a very good wheel because they're very light. And if you go onto the website, you can see the benefits of having that alley rim on them. Coming around here, if you come into the left-hand restoration room, with a pile of wheels and tyres here that will go onto eBay eventually. They're the original Series 2 and XJ6 chrome wheels, which I think are better than a wire wheel because you've not got any maintenance on them hardly, easy to clean. You know, I just think it's a better wheel, but that's a personal choice. So if we come into here, see things have been moved around a little bit. This is my car. As you can see, it's pretty filthy because I haven't cleaned it yet. And what we're doing with it, we've taken the back axle out. So if you come round to the back, you can see all the components have been removed from the back axle, and the diffs away, being sorted out. There was a bit too much play on one of the output shafts, so that's away now. And as soon as that comes back, we can put it all back together. But this is done we think about 20,000 miles using our standard process of powder coating, and you know it lasts really well. Because it's got a primer, so it's blasted back to bare. Then there's a primer, and then we have the powder coat on top of it. So it's not like the old days where you get powder coating, and then what would happen is if you've got a stone chip, it would literally peel off. Well, this doesn't. That's great. So in here are all the components for the back axle. They've all been cleaned. We're going to be changing the brake pads and things like that because we can. And there's a bit of oil contamination with them anyway. So that'll have to be done. You can see this is what happens when you start using a car. You get lots of dead flies everywhere. So it's a great opportunity for us to actually clean up underneath the car properly, under the bonnet properly. So I'll get on with that at some point. And again, we can show you what the end result is. Over here, we've got the two outside bonnet latch cars. We've talked about these, I think, in the past. Chassis 39 and chassis 47. 39 is still for sale. The interesting thing is that this is quite a rare opportunity because both the cars were on the production line at the same time. This 39 was dispatched 2 days earlier than 47 in 1961, so that's pretty impressive. I think it's April-May 61. So yeah, the two old girls are reunited for the first time in 60 odd years, which is quite a nice thing. So if we follow me round to the other restoration room to see where we are. Try not to step on John. I know you can step on him.
Step on me if you want.
So here we have our 62 drop head full restoration that we're working through. Lots of detail. All the brake pipes are now in and bent, as you can see there. I think John's on with bending up the spill pipes now, or the overflow pipes for the carburetors. But again, you know, a lot of detail, a lot of effort goes into getting these cars right, and but it's worth it in the end, because then you know that, you know, the owner stands a pretty good chance that the car shouldn't let them down once it's built, and we've got our 500 miles testing on it. But it's a lovely, lovely thing. And it will be once we're all back together. We were waiting for ages for parts. There's a bush that goes in there, because we always rebuild the gear sticks. Excuse me. And so we always replace all the tough and all washers in here and the bushes, because, you know, that's nice and tight, you know, which is what you want, not just stirring a pudding when you're trying to change gear. But we were waiting for parts for that for a long time, which is holding John up because he couldn't get the transmission tunnel cover on, which he wanted to do, and then he can finish off all the sound deadening as well around there. If you come around here now, you can see we've got the headline is now in our full restorations, the Series 2 fixed head. It's a sister car for the drop head. So if you look at that underneath there, you can see all the roof linings in, which is one of the first jobs that we get done on the car, because it's a painful job to do, and our trimmer doesn't really like doing them. So I get him as soon as we can and coerce him into doing it. It's a horrible, horrible job. You know, you've got nowhere comfortable to lie down in the car to actually do it. So, but he's finished it now, which is great. So if you come this way again, well, there's our frame for when we transport body shells around. We've got all the pickup points, so we can bolt the frame, bolt the chassis. So that'll be a full chassis with the bonnet we can actually bolt onto this, which is great. And then it can go onto the trailer without risking of any damage to it. Okay, so through here, I want to go over to the ramp now and just take an opportunity to show you what one of our restorations looks like underneath, which is not something that you would see very often. I've got a torch over here that we can use. It'll work. Yeah. So if you come underneath the ramp, I'll show you. This car's been out on test. We've got about 400 miles on it now, and you can see the detail here. Nothing is left to chance. All the wire locking is done properly. All the bolts are replated. We've got proper nylocks everywhere, and we use the updated lower ball joints there because it's just an easier way of doing it. All of this is plated here. All suspension's plated. We use Super Pro poly bushes now because they're better. We use Coney shock absorbers because we just had problems with some of the other brands that we were using. These flexibles here are braided stainless steel. So what will happen is that you get a much better pedal feel rather than risking the rubber ones expanding. If you look up here, you can see that we use the uprated engine mounts, so they never wear out. They're just brilliant, no problems at all. Here we've got our what's one of our products. It's a step-down hose, because the diameter up here is bigger than the diameter onto here. So it either doesn't fit up here or it's too tight here. I mean, it's, you know, so we've had step-down silicone hoses made. We're missing the plate here for the oil filter. That will go on in due course. And if we keep coming back, we can see the exhaust is all up. All the shields are in place as they should be. If you want to turn around back so you don't walk into anything there. Back axle here, everything's built properly. New universal joints everywhere, new bushes, new bearings in here, all shimmed up properly. We've got polybush radius arms here, mounts, because we like that to be a little bit stiff. We've still got some grommets to fit underneath in the floor. The reason the wheels are off the air is because we've got the speedo's bouncing a little bit. So we want to get the car running, get the rear wheels turning, and see if we can diagnose the problem with the cable. So yeah, that's pretty much it for here. What I want to do now is to show you some of the bodges that we have to deal with. I've got a couple for this week, or for this month. I'll try and make it a regular spot, because I think it's interesting to see how people overcome problems. Some are good, but some are absolutely ridiculous. The first one I'll show you is this one here. So this bolt here goes through the torsion bar reaction plate, and there are 4 of them. That is an actual bolt we would use. I think they're normally hardened and they've got a shoulder on them. And then there's a nylock nut. And there's a lot of force going through that. But the owners of this particular car couldn't get the holes to line up. So they machined this affair here. So you've got a 1/4 UNF bolt here, and they've drilled out and tapped there. So when you put it in like that, everything looked okay. They've even drilled a hole to wire lock this 1/4 bolt in place. Now, why the hell you would go to all that effort? And it fooled us, because as you can see, you've got the big head there. So we thought everything's okay. And then we looked on the other side and saw that. We thought, hang on, what's going on? So, no, we actually replaced all 4 bolts. This one here is one of my favourite bodges, I suppose you can call it. So this is a door lock, and what happens is that every time you turn the key, this pivots inside here. In later cars, they actually put a shim, because this is only a base metal, and that would literally cut off. It would literally fall off, and then nothing works properly. And we take it apart, you think it's such a neat cut, that's standard, and it's not, it's broken. So what they did here was they took a bottle cap, cut a slot in it, very, very well done, and silver soldered this panel, this bit here, into the top. So a fantastic piece of workmanship, and will probably last a lot longer than a standard one. But we didn't put it back on the car because we liked it so much. And I keep it on my desk and say, yeah, there's bodges and there's bodges. And this, for me, isn't really a bodge, it's a great fix, to come up with a solution. It's the kind of thing that they would do in India or Pakistan, where they can't get parts, so they have to make things and keep on adapting all the time. So that's pretty much it for this month's workshop tour. Next month we've got a lot more cars coming in, which we can be talking to. So if you've got any comments you want to make, or things you'd like to see, I'm thinking about doing one section on concours as well. So this is what would be on a concours car. Not to do a whole video on it, because I think enough's been done about that, but we can actually run through some quite interesting things as to why there are things on your car. Why have I got that? But when you look at one of the early cars, you can see why it was done. So hopefully that makes sense. So thanks for watching. If you like the video, please like and subscribe. That really does help us getting our subscribers up. And as I say, it's great fun doing these, and providing you like and subscribe, we'll carry on doing them because it's enjoyable, and people seem to be getting a lot from them as well. So thank you and goodbye.